Everyone in the training hall heard the sound first, a desperate, cracking gasp followed by boots scraping against the mat. When they turned, they saw her on her knees, fingers clawing at the massive arm crushing her throat. The men who had forced her into the choke were laughing, convinced she was done, convinced she was weak, convinced she was just another newcomer they could break for fun. Then the door slammed open. A Navy SEAL stepped inside, his eyes scanning the scene. And in that 1 second, that single look, every man in the room felt their confidence drain away. Because the SEAL knew her. Because he knew exactly who they had laid hands on. Because he whispered only 4 words that made their blood run cold. "Don't forget who I am." And when he moved toward them, the real training began. Mara Hale arrived at the Joint Special Warfare Academy with her head high and her past locked deep inside her chest. She had no patches on her uniform, no rank markings, nothing that showed the truth about who she used to be. That was how she wanted it. She didn't come here to intimidate people. She came to rebuild herself. A year earlier, her entire squad had been lost in a mission she barely survived. The command had given her time off, but Mara chose something else, to train again from the beginning, anonymously, without recognition or sympathy. She wanted to rediscover her strength, not be praised for the scars she carried. But new beginnings rarely stay peaceful. On her 3rd day, she stepped onto the sparring mat where a group of male trainees were already going hard. The biggest of them, Cruz, a brawler with muscles stacked like bricks, pointed at her with a mocking grin. "New girl wants to try," he laughed. "Sure. We'll go easy." Mara didn't reply. She simply bowed and took her stance. For the first minute, everything was simple footwork and distance. But then, as soon as she countered one of Cruz's heavy strikes with a clean elbow, something in him snapped. He didn't like being shown up, especially not by someone half his size. Without warning, he grabbed her from behind, locking his massive arm around her neck. Mara tried to slip out, but his 2 friends rushed in, holding her arms down. They weren't sparring anymore. They were humiliating her. Her lungs burned, her fingers trembled, her vision blurred. "Tap out," one laughed. "I said tap out," another mocked. But Mara couldn't breathe, she couldn't tap. Panic thundered in her chest, that old familiar darkness returning, the feeling she had on the battlefield the night her squad was taken from her. Her knees hit the ground. Her body weakened. And just when she thought she might black out, the loud metallic slam of the front door echoed through the hall. Everyone froze. A tall figure in combat fatigue stood in the doorway, calm, steady, eyes sharp as razors. The trainees whispered to each other, faces paling. They recognized him immediately. Chief Petty Officer Marcus Keene. Navy SEAL. Decorated. Respected. Feared. He walked forward slowly, his boots making each man's heartbeat louder. His gaze fell on Mara, kneeling, gasping, fighting for breath. His jaw clenched. "You really don't know," Marcus said quietly, almost pitying them. "You have no idea who she is." Cruz, still holding Mara, swallowed nervously. "Yes, sir, it was just a spar." Marcus stepped closer, voice low but lethal. "Don't forget who I am," he said. "Because she trained beside me." The whole room fell silent. But what came next, no one would ever forget. Marcus didn't yell. He didn't threaten. He didn't need to. He simply reached down, placed his hand on Cruz's wrist, and squeezed gently. Cruz screamed. The chokehold snapped open instantly, Mara collapsing forward but caught by Marcus before she hit the ground. He looked at her, his expression softening for the first time. "You good?" he whispered. She nodded weakly, embarrassed, angry, hurting, but alive. Then Marcus stood. "Everyone on the mat," he ordered, voice cold. No one dared argue. The 3 who attacked Mara stood trembling, trying to look brave but failing miserably. Marcus circled them slowly, like a predator studying unprepared prey. "You think choking someone who isn't fighting back makes you strong?" he asked. "You think gang-up sparring is funny? Let me teach you what real strength looks like." Before any of them could respond, Marcus moved. What followed didn't look like a fight. It looked like a lesson carved into bone and pride. Every strike he delivered was precise. A wrist lock that sent one man tumbling, a foot sweep that flattened another, a shoulder throw so smooth it looked effortless. He didn't break bones. He didn't leave permanent injuries. But he broke their ego, completely. Within minutes, all three were on the floor, gasping for breath that Mira had been denied. Then Marcus turned to the rest of the room. Training is for building each other, he said, not crushing the people who will one day save your life. Silence settled over the hall. But Mira, she stared at Marcus with a mix of guilt and gratitude. Why did you step in? She asked quietly once the others had cleared out. Marcus looked at her with a seriousness that cut straight through her defenses. Because you told the world you wanted a fresh start, he said. You didn't ask to be treated like a legend. But I won't stand by while someone tries to break you again. Mira felt her throat tighten, not from choking this time, but from the weight of his understanding. She had hidden her past so she could heal in peace. Yet Marcus, the one person who had fought beside her in the darkness, refused to let her fall alone. You're not weak, he said softly. You survived what most never could. Don't forget who you are, Mira. Those words hit deeper than any chokehold ever could. For the first time in months, she felt steady again, grounded, supported. And when she stepped back onto the mat, she did so with a fire in her eyes that no one dared underestimate again. By the end of the week, Mira wasn't just another trainee. She was the one others looked up to, the one who inspired them to train harder, fight cleaner, and respect deeper. And the men who once tried to choke her? They apologized, genuinely. Pain had taught them nothing. But seeing her strength, seeing her rise, that taught them everything.